All right, so in exercises 1 through 3, we're going to use this diagram. We're going to name or give two names for the plane. Anytime we name a plane, what do we always have to write? Plane. And then what is one of the options to name this plane? Plane P. How did you know to choose the letter P? It's not a point, it's a capital letter, right? So that's one option. What is another option to name the plane? A, B, and F. Agreed. A, B, F. Could I use point D to name the plane? No, why not?
It's off the plane.
It's off the plane, yeah. Perfect. Number 2, give two other names for line DC. So that'd be this line. What is one way to name it? Line M, I agree. And then option 2. Yeah, arrows above and then CD. The last one, name a pair of opposite rays. 3 things have to happen to have opposite rays. They need to be collinear. What does collinear mean? On the same line. They have to have the same end point. End point, and then what's the third one? They have to go in opposite directions. All right, I ran out of room, but you get it. So what will be the same end point in this picture? C. So what's one ray we're going to use?
CA.
CA. When we name a ray, what direction does the arrow point?
Right.
To the right. CA and CB, like boy. Yep. And CB. Questions on these 3? Wonderful. Name a segment. When we name a segment, what do? A line. Do I have any arrows? No. Any dots? No. And then how many points? 2 of them. So just pick 2. You need a pass. Okay. All right. 2 points. Just pick 2. AC. All right. AC, or what else could we have said? CA or
BC.
BC is another segment. BC. Or we could have said DC, something to that effect. 3 points that are collinear. ACB, I agree. When you list multiple things, you put commas between them. So A, comma, C, comma, B. It says name 3 that are coplanar. We're just going to name all of them so that you don't get these words confused. Which are the points that are coplanar?
A, C, B, F.
A, C, B, and F. So just so you can decipher between the words collinear and coplanar. Coplanar means on the same plane. All right, and then give an example of what you cannot name the plane. So plane what? ACB, definitely can't do that. Why not? They're on the same line. What other letters could we just not use? D, and then what else? M we can't use because it's, what does M represent? The name of a line. What other letters could we not use? L. And then P isn't a point. We couldn't use it with 2 other points. Questions on naming a plane? All right. So, I know this didn't print very well, and I am very sorry. It just is what it is. Yeah. Try and draw an X and Y axis. If you want to try to draw the, other lines gently, lightly, whatever. All right, so we're going to plot some points, starting with 8, -4. 8 is my X, so what direction will I go? To the right. 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then I will go down 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you want to label it A. B, the X is 3, so from the origin I'm going to go to the right, 1, 2, 3, and then I will go down 1, 2, 3, 4. These make a segment, yes? So go and connect them. All right, and then C, the X is 7. So I'll go to the left, or sorry, to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'll go up 1. And then D, gonna go 7 and then negative 3. 2, 3. And then connect the dots because it's a segment. Thank you. All right, so we have to decide whether they're congruent. So how can I find the length of a, let's start with AB. It's a horizontal line. So how do you find the length?
You can count the boxes.
You can count the boxes. So how many boxes are between B and A?
5.
3, 4, 5. Yep, 5. And then CD is vertical, so we can also count the boxes. 1, 2, 3, 4. So are they congruent?
No.
They are not. So what does the statement look like when they're not congruent?
It's the thing in the slash.
Yeah, so AB, and then what does a congruent symbol look like? Okay, but we want not congruent, right? So throw a slash through it, and then CD. So you are honors. If you ever see a diagonal line, how do you find the length of a diagonal line? The distance formula. You cannot count boxes if it is diagonal. Okay? Questions on this one? Okay, next one. Q is between P and R on segment PR. So let's go and draw a segment. Our two endpoints are P and R. All right, and then it says Q is between. Does that mean it's in the middle? Is it the midpoint? No, it's just somewhere in between. Not necessarily the middle. It says PQ is 3. Then it says PR is X plus 17. And then QR is 2X plus 22. All right, so normally we have the letters A, B, and C, right? What do we normally do when there's A, B, and C?
AB plus BC equals AC.
Correct. We just don't have these exact letters. Instead of AB, what will we write?
PQ.
PQ. And instead of BC, we would have
QR.
QR, and they equal
PR.
PR. All right. So what is the length of PQ? We're going to plug them in.
3.
It is 3. Sorry, PQ, QR, RQ. Sorry, PR. All right, so PQ is 3. We're going to add it to QR, which is
2x plus 22.
correct, 2x plus 22. And they will equal PR, which is x plus 17. We just want to solve from here, combine like terms. 3 plus 22 is 25. Drop down that 2x, and they equal x plus 17. I always move the smaller x, which here would be x. So how do I move that x across the equal sign? Subtract it. So 25 plus 2x minus x makes
X.
x equals 17. Subtract 25. X equals negative 8. So, can you have a negative x?
Yeah.
Yes, we just got that. Can you have a negative length? No. So you just want to plug in to find the other lengths. Let's start with QR. QR was 2 times x plus 22. So 2 times negative 8 plus 22. 2 times negative 8 is? Negative 16 plus 22 is 6. So technically we should know the length of PR already. If we know PQ is 3 and QR is 6, what should the length of PR be?
3.
Should be 9, yeah. But you can always plug in just to check. It used to be x plus 17. We know x is negative 8. So negative 8 plus 17 is, yeah, definitely 9. Just make sure on a problem like this you circle your answers so I can find them in the midst of it all. Questions, comments, concerns? All right, go ahead and take out your ruler for the next question. think kids are taking them because I definitely had 24 to start. You just want to share. Is it not under your stuff? I love people. I just do. I'm sorry. I see that. I don't have. I have these. So. All right. So go ahead and put the first line. You'll want to flip it. No. So that the numbers are. First line on the first dot, all the way to the left. All right. How many full inches is it for sure? 3, and then it's going to be some extra change, right? So when you measure in eighths, that is every other line is another eighth. Okay, the longer lines are eighths. So what do we think? It's 3 and 5/8. I do agree. 3 and 5/8. So measure it with the ruler is not on the quiz, but it will be on the test. And then on the quiz, I did make a mistake when making it. In the test bank, there's one question that measures in centimeters and one that measures in eighth inches. So on the quiz, we practice the eighth inches because it's more important than centimeters. But the quiz, I didn't see that, and so it's centimeters. So what I'll do is, I will teach you how to do it right now, but I'll also have a question on the board that you can do, and it's in eighths. So you can either do the one that's on your paper or do the one that's on the board. I do not care. And I'll explain that when we get closer to the quiz. But you have this question, and it is a segment that is already lined up on a ruler. All right, so when you measure in centimeters, how many dashes is it from 1 centimeter to the next centimeter? There's 10 of them. Yeah. So if you look 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, including the next inch, there's 10. All right, so all you do is you say, 3 out of 10, 4 out, whatever dash you're at out of 10. That's it. So first of all, how many full centimeters do we have here? Got 1, 2, there's 3 full centimeters. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, and then it's not another whole centimeter, there's a partial. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 3 and 1/2. Yeah. 5/10 is a half. So this would be it. That's it. Have any questions? On your quiz, if it's blurry and you think it's between 2 dashes, I do accept. Like this one is pretty dead on 5/10, but sometimes they might be moved over a little bit. I am very gracious on if it was like blurry between, if that makes sense. You can go to the next page. Find the midpoint and LM. All right. What does it mean when there's no line above? Yeah, well, it means the length of it, right? Which, this is going to be a diagonal line. I know it is because, are these x's the same? No. Are these y's the same? No. So it is going to be diagonal. So in a diagonal line, you have to use the distance formula. Okay, so if you want to mark that, we would end up using the distance formula. But first, we can do the midpoint. How do you find the middle x between 2 x's? What do you do? Add them and divide by 2. That's how you find the middle between 2 numbers. So 6 plus 7 is? Divide by 2. 6.5. You could also just look at this one and know. You don't have to show all the work. If you just know that between 6 and 7 is 6.5, you can just write 6.5. Same thing here with -3 and -2. -3 plus -2 is -5. And -5 over 2 is -2.5. So again, you could have just known in your head that between -2 and -3 is -2.5. Okay, you don't have to show the work on the quiz. For the length, though, you will need to. What does it look like when you want to find the distance between 2 points? Yes, but what's over all of it? The square root, right? And then you got 2 sets of parentheses. What are the signs? Minus plus minus. What's happening to both sets of parentheses? Squared. All right, so in the first set of parentheses, which letters? I don't want the numbers yet. Which letters are we going to end up putting?
X1,
X1 and then
X2,
X2. And then in the second set, we will put
Y1, Y2.
Y1, Y2. All right, so what's my first X here?
6,
It is 6. And my second X,
7,
7. My first Y,
negative 3,
-3. My second Y, -2. When I plug in that -2 and there's already a negative, what is that? A plus. All right, you can skip a few steps, meaning what's 6 minus 7?
-1.
-1. What's -1 squared?
1.
1. Minus 3 plus 2?
-1.
-1 squared is 1. All right, 1 plus 1 is?
2.
Square root of 2 approximately is?
1.4.
1.4. Questions? Okay. This is the last one that's on your paper. I will teach you or remind you both ways of how to do this. There is a simple way and then there's a longer way. In this one, you're given the midpoint, and your midpoint is 6, 3. So we already know the midpoint is 6, 3. We have the segment's called JK. So one of the endpoints is J, and we know it's 14, 9. The other endpoint is K, and we don't know what it is. That's what we're trying to find. So what you can do is figure out the midpoint, the X, is in the middle between the other two X's. So how far apart is 6 from 14? It's, yeah, they added 8, right? So to go the other direction, what are we going to do? Subtract 8. So 6 minus 8 is -2. So 6 is 8 away from both of these numbers. How can I help you, Mari? No, the midpoint is 6, 3. This one we're finding the other endpoint. So you found the middle between J and M?
Yeah.
All right, and then the next one, how far apart is 3 from 9? It's up 6. So then to go the other way, we want to go down 6, which would be -3. So K is -2, -3. There is a math way to do it if you don't like this way. How do we find the X of the midpoint? What's the process? Well, we add the X's, right? And divide by 2, yes? Okay. So from here, you'd want to plug in what you know. Do you know the X of the midpoint?
Yes.
Yes, what is it?
6.
6. All right, do you know one of the X coordinates?
Yeah.
Yes, what is it?
14.
14. Oops. What did I already do wrong?
You put
Look at the
6
colors.
in
Yeah, I put the 6 in the wrong place. All right, 6 in the midpoint. And then X of my endpoint. Do I know the other X endpoint? No, so I'd put X. Then you would solve. How would I solve for X first?
You put the wrong number.
It's supposed to be 14, yeah.
I did. What number should it be?
14.
Correct. What a time. All right, now what do I do?
Multiply both sides by 2.
Multiply by 2. All right, 2 times 6 is
12.
12 equals 14 plus X. And then my last step,
Minus 14.
subtract 14, and X equals -2, which is what we found, right? We're going to practice it with the Y because I struggled at life. So how did we find the Y of the midpoint? Same thing, but we did Y's added together, divide by 2. What is the Y of the midpoint? 3. 3, and it equals the Y of the endpoint, 9 plus Y, divide by 2, and then you'd multiply from there. Multiply by 2. What's 3 times 2? 6. So 6 equals 9 plus Y, subtract 9, and Y would equal still -3. So either method you get the same answer. It's -2 and -3. Yes, sir.
Does it? When it gives you the one that you have to find, which one do you put on top?
The midpoint needs to be in the middle.
Yeah, I know, but.
It doesn't
the
matter.
one that it gives you, does it have?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You're saying, could I interchange J and K? Yeah. As long as the midpoint's in the middle. All right, you're going to write this one down. We got to quicken. We got to hurry up. We got it at 12:10. Okay, yeah, we super got to hurry. Just go ahead and draw the graph. Don't write the sentence. Just draw a graph. Draw x equals -5.